Hi guys. Good news. I realized that the Clavier's Piano Explorer show it had it to end, but because my iPad ran out of storage. So, but now my mom put the storage inside her computer. So right now we have free storage. It was not that YouTube had to make me pay this and that. It was because my iPad was full of storage. I did not know that. It only had 16 GB of storage. That is the only amount of storage that the iPad can have. So, because of that, now that we have extra storage now, we can continue the Clever Explore show. Okay, so the composer of the month, which is November 2018, is, drumroll please, Maurice Ravel. Alright, let's talk about Maurice. Maurice was born in 1875 and died in 1937. Maurice Ravel was a French composer who lived in Paris at the end of the Romantic period and into the 20th century. He usually wrote light, sparkling, energetic music with descriptive titles. Like Debussy and other French composers of the time, Ravel was influenced by French impressionist painters like Manet or Renoir. Impressionist music often sounds dreamy or developed theme. Ravel also adapted music from other countries, including Spanish dances and rhythms, American jazz, and pentatonic scales from Asia. Paris Exhibition. In 1889, Paris hosted a giant fair called the Universal Exhibition. There were exhibits from all over the world, and people from different countries came to demonstrate inventions, art, and music from their homelands. Maurice Ravel, who was a 14-year-old student at the time, was very impressed with the music of other cultures. He later used some of the musical ideas he heard in his compositions. So, I probably said exhibits wrong. It's exhibits. Exhibits or exhibits. Yeah, exhibits. Exhibition. There we go. My mouth got mixed up. Sometimes there are a lot of long words that made my mouth turn into sometimes in these issues there are words that they're like a mouthful. So they're kind of hard for me to speak. So let's continue with Maurice Ravel about his childhood. Ravel was born in the southwest part of France, near the border with Spain, but grew up in Paris. His mother was from Madrid and told him many stories about her childhood in Spain and sang Spanish folk songs to him. As a result, he was interested in Spanish music. His father was a successful engineer and inventor and was interested in music and the arts as well. He introduced Maurice and his younger brother to Edward, to culture and ideas from an early age. Ravel began piano lessons when he was 7 and started to learn about harmony and composition when he was 11, the age that I am. I am 11 years old. He was a talented musician, but not a child prodigy, and he did not like to practice very much. He began composing when he was 12 and wrote several excellent pieces. At the age of 14, Ravel was accepted to the Paris Conservatory of Music. This was the most important music school in France. He studied there for many years. While he was a good pianist, he was not as good as some of his classmates, and his primary interest was to be a composer. So this is Ravel's mother. This is Ravel's mother over there. Alright, so let's continue with Ravel in A Rebel of a Composer. In the late 1800s, musicians, writers, and artists came to Paris, where they met and shared new ideas. It was an exciting place to be. Ravel soon became close friends with other young artists and explored new musical ideas. Sometimes his teachers at the conservatory did not like his unusual compositions. Ravel's music was not popular with critics at first, either because it sounded too different from the German traditions that they were used to. His second published piece, Pavane for a Dead Princess, however, made him famous. It was originally written for piano and later Ravel orchestrated it, which means that he wrote parts for all of the instruments of the orchestra. The music shows Ravel's love for Spanish styles and the stately dance rhythms of the Spanish pavane. Although Ravel became a well-known composer, he did not earn much money. This is the tune to Pavane for a Dead Princess. And there's more to it, and much more music to it, with these images everywhere. So that made him really famous. When you go up on YouTube, you can search up the song, and you can actually hear him play his own composition on a piano roll. A piano roll is like a roll that has these several lines that makes the piano play these notes by itself. Okay, let's continue with influences and encounters. During his lifetime, Ravel became friends with both Claude Debussy and Éric Satie, two famous French composers. Satie introduced Ravel to unusual sounds of Greek modes and unusual harmonies, and Debussy was the leader of the Impressionist movement in music. The influence of both composers can be heard in Ravel's music. Ravel also met the Russian composer Igor Stravinsky. He became interested in the sounds of jazz music during a trip to America where he met George Gershwin. George Gershwin composed a very famous piece for piano and orchestra. It's Rhapsody in Blue. You might already heard it in the movie Fantasia 2000 by Walt Disney Pictures. It sounds like this. It's a very cool piece. One piece that I know Éric Satie, one work that I know Éric Satie wrote is his 3 gymnopedies. The first gymnopedy sounds like this. And I know another piece that Claude Debussy wrote is Clair de Lune. Da, 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 Okay, and let's continue with the paragraph during World War I. During World War I, the years 1914 to 1918, Ravel wanted to serve in the army, but he was not admitted because he did not weigh enough. After many months of trying, he was allowed to be a truck driver for the army. Famous works that Maurice Ravel wrote is Daphnis and Chloe, a ballet with 2 suites. I think the second suite is played most often. Jeu d'Iel for piano solo. I do not know how to say that. Bolero for orchestra. That is a very famous piece for by Maurice Ravel for orchestra. It sounds like, so the drums play da 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 da, and then the oboe plays the melody Da na 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 na. And then the melody continues on, and soon, in the end, the whole orchestra plays the melody, and it ends with a booming finale. And then another work that is famous by Maurice Ravel is Piano Concerto for the Left Hand. This one is very famous. Maurice Ravel had a friend that that when he was a truck driver in World War I, when they were fighting, a friend of his injured his right hand and it got cut off by an enemy. So Ravel's friend was also a pianist. So Maurice Ravel felt really bad for him. So he decided to write a piece for him to play. And it is Piano Concerto for the Left Hand, because he only had the left hand to play music. And then another piano concerto that he wrote is D major, and another one, Piano Concerto in G major. So that means he wrote 3 piano concertos in total. He also wrote a sonatina for piano solo. And he wrote La Tombe de Couperin. That's probably how you say it. A suite of 6 dances in Baroque forms, each one dedicated to a victim of the war. So that was the one he also wrote during World War I when he was a truck driver. And 'Tis Again. I know this piece. This piece is really cool sounding. It is a brilliant violin piece that plays with the orchestra. It is a really cool piece. You should hear it. It's like 12 minutes long, but it has really cool melodies that keeps getting stuck in your brain. And last work that is famous by Maurice is Mamir Lioi, a suite of 5 piano duets, Mother Goose Suite in English. And these are the events during Ravel's life, from 1875 to 1937. When he was born, the telephone was invented. And in 1879, when he was 4, the light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison. In 1885, the car was invented. In 1889, it was the Paris Exposition. In 1891, the zipper was invented. In 1903, the Wright brothers fly their airplane. In 1912, the Titanic sinks. And in 1914 to 1918, the World War I was occurred. And in 1920, women can vote in the U.S. In 1926, TV was invented. 1929, stock market crashed. And in 1937, Ravel died. From 1929 to 1937, it was the beginning of the Great Depression, which was a time where people did not have the ability to get jobs. And they did not have enough money. So that's why it's called the Great Depression. Okay, let's see if there's any joke of the day. Alright, let's see if there's any joke. Okay, here's the jokes. Sorry, it took a bit long. Question: what did the shark call when his piano did not sound right? Answer: a piano tuna! That one's pretty funny. Question: why did the fisherman join the orchestra? Answer, he caught a bass. A bass is an instrument. And there's another fish called the bass. That is pretty funny. And, all right, let's talk more about his Mother Goose Suite by Ravel. Ravel wrote Mother Goose Suite as a gift for 2 young children he knew. The suite is a group of 5 duets for 1 piano and 4 hands, which means 2 people play a duet on the same piano. Ravel later wrote a version of the piece for orchestra. Each movement tells a different fairy tale story, including Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast. Ravel wanted to write in a simpler style that he usually did to awaken the poetry of childhood. The example below tells the story of a little boy exploring in the woods. He drops breadcrumbs along the way to find his way home, but birds eat them up. Ravel uses thirds that move up and down the piano as the child becomes upset and afraid. So, the second plays da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. It keeps playing that the child is getting scared, that the birds already ate the crumbs, so he would not get lost, but looks like he got lost. So this is the primo, which is the melody, the person that plays the melody. It says da 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 da. It tells that the boy is brave and he's on an adventure, but that he got lost and the birds ate the breadcrumbs. So suddenly gets to a stop. Bam.